came to in a backyard of a small fenced-in suburban house. I say suburban, but as the dream went on, it seemed like we were more and more distance from any kind of civilization, middle of the woods kind of thing, more like a research home. Looking inside the windows, there were all types of researcher, employee types. Not really sure. They were dressed like normal people, but they were moving around like they were at work. They didn't seem to mind that we saw them. We, as in me and several other people, I had talked to
a friend
different times throughout my dreams. One girl whose name was Sophie was there, and she seemed pretty upbeat about the situation. But over time, everybody was getting more and more freaked out because we couldn't leave. We'd throw a rock over the fence and it would hit nothing but bounce back. At a certain point, when we were at our wits' end trying to figure out where we were, what was going on, why we couldn't leave, that's when people started disappearing. And at a certain point, actual flowers, stretched out and grabbed Sophie and started pulling her into itself, but it was leading underground. And so I've got a hold of her. At this point, the happy Sophie, she started off as now freaking out, of course, screaming. She doesn't like this. And this door kind of opens beneath the bush. And there's a bunch of people under there naked. The closer we got, the more like I could hear this kind of like moaning, orgasming type moans. And it just sounded like porn underneath this bush. And I'm just like, I'm freaking out as I'm trying to keep this girl from being pulled into this hole. And
a friend
is in there. He's naked too. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, he basically was kind of like, oh, dude. He's like, yeah, it's a matter of probability, really, and proximity, something like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I'm still holding on to this girl while all these people, specifically unattractive people,
a friend,
I'll set him apart from that, but it didn't seem like a good place to be. And he was telling me, like, he's already had to have sex with his longtime male friend because everybody down there is just having mindless, like, numb sex constantly. And that's what, I don't know that's what they do. That's what it does to you when you're there, and that's what you have to, like, basically he in your dreams, like how you feel about something, and you just kind of know certain things. That didn't look like my house, but I knew it was my house. It was kind of like I knew he was holding on by seeing me. He was able to sort of enough of his humanity was being recalled that he could tell me, basically, you're not gonna like this. But he didn't care anymore. Nobody down there cared. It was just this disgusting thing just ongoing. And he's like, oh man, new guy coming in, well, you better get used to this. No, I don't know. Anyway, all right, that's it. Okay, so here is part 2, I guess, and an attempt at analyzing what this nightmare was really about. I think I'll skip over, the girl's name was Sophie, and I was watching a podcast where the guy mentioned his daughter. You know what? That actually is relevant. I was listening to a podcast, and the guy mentioned his daughter's name. And so it's not, I don't think that's a coincidence at all, that'd be the name of the girl. Okay, so let me try to sum this up. I'm going to try to do this in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, I got my Christmas tree up in February. So I think where this really comes from is I downloaded Instagram and TikTok for this other YouTube channel I started, Thrum Lives, where I'm just uploading these video edits and little music videos, basically. And so I'm like, let me post this to wherever I think it would get the most traction. And TikTok seems to be good for that. And from what I can tell, unless you tag it with something remotely controversial, then yeah, you post it and bam, 950 views in a day. Now it does nothing after that, but when I was first seeing that, I was like, this is incredible. Like, I never could have done this on YouTube, back in 2016, 2017, pushing heavily edited vlog type videos like I was doing. But on TikTok, bam, you get results. Okay, the problem for me has been, I open the app and it shows me some woman lip singing, half-assedly lip singing, and just kind of dancing around, right? Her and her friends, get sort of treated like, haha, girls time. And, I think at certain points, my wife and her friends, they've done stuff like that. Oh, it's the TikTok dance going around or whatever. Not for a while, I don't think, but it seems to be fairly common, right? Well, so these women will just pop up when you click this ad before you click anything else once you've opened the app. Well, there have been times where I click on it and it'll be like some girl, let's say of age. There's one in particular that I'm thinking of. She looked like an adult, right? But you could see in her house that there are these pictures hanging up where I got the idea this is her parents' house. Then I'm really thinking this has gotten that much weirder than people just constantly recording and lip singing and sort of dancing around so they can show people online and we can all talk to each other about it, or these women can get this attention for doing pretty much nothing but just looking good, right? Well, this girl and the house she was in, I just started thinking this is a really weird thing. Like you start recording yourself, you start dancing around, and some guy, let's say me, let's say a total degenerate, some guy from wherever can just look inside your house and watch your daughter dance around, and under the current contract, this is all totally normal to everyone. To the girl, if you were to be like, oh, this is weird, you can't do this, or you realize who's online, blah, blah, she would just say, why are you excluding me from doing this fun thing that I like to do? Why are you excluding me from, things my friends are doing? And to this guy, if he's a pervert, he's got all the excuses in the world to just say, I'm not the pervert. He was just looking, he was just doing what you're allowed to do. And hey, she seemed like an adult and she wanted to do this, so what's the problem? Or you would just have a regular guy, he could make his excuses too. However, it's weird. It doesn't matter to me how normal it becomes in society. It's like, if I can look outside myself and easily dismantle it this way, it's like, okay, this is something, it needs to be acknowledged as being very strange. It should not be normalized. Everybody loves normalizing the word normalize. So I was just thinking how strange this is. And, it's not a coincidence the girl in my dream who gets dragged under to this pornographic hellhole. It's not a coincidence that her name is the same as this guy who mentioned his teenage daughter. It's not a coincidence that I don't have a teenage daughter, but I have a daughter now, and yay me, and that this kind of thing would be on my mind whether I have acknowledged it or not. I'm not. So, I guess the reason this would be, a little closer to the surface of my mind would be just the fact that I've been on TikTok, whereas previously I just thought this is kind of like a kid app, right? Not a kid-friendly app, but the kind of thing where, like how Grand Theft Auto, it's become more associated with kids than it is anybody else, even though this is, of course, not a kid-friendly game. This is not, kids should not be playing this, but of course, who wants to play it more than anybody? I think I had more, but I'm already running over the time that I'd set for myself. Anyway, yeah, I will say I was being asked, like, or just told, by the friend who was in the dream, as well as, basically anybody I told, dude, don't put this online. Like, it makes you look like a weirdo. It makes your friend look like a weirdo. Like, that's what you think about him or something. And I think I'm too far gone in terms of, Jungian psychology or dream analysis to see any of this kind of stuff as strange. What I would see as strange is like what your reaction is to it. What's in your subconscious, I'm not sure how much that can be helped. But what's important is how you respond to it. I think where that comes from is, no one is immune to this, I'll say degeneracy. What is this? I mean, no one is immune from whatever this is. It could be anybody, and I think that's where that comes from. It wasn't just the other. It wasn't just people I don't relate to, or I could write them all off as ugly and gross and not even deformed per se. It looked like the cover of one of those magazines where they're like, this is what diversity looks like, and it's just like they're not really diverse. They're all just sort of a bunch of gross, angry-looking women who are like naked on the cover of this magazine, and they're barely covering themselves up. And it's like this is so much of what society is, where it's like, no, that thing that you hate, you're supposed to love it. I could have easily written this pit of people off if not for the fact I saw someone I recognized, someone I love, someone I respect, and then I'm going, what are you doing? And again, I think it's you're not, if you're not above it, or if you are above it, well, I mean, I was literally above it and they were underground, you can also be a part of it. So you better, I can't remember what movie this is from. You better be careful. Oh, it's Rumble in the Bronx. Okay, anyway, I don't know why I'm posting this, but my daughter's actually waking up, so I gotta go. Bye.